have there ever been a people as civilizationally suicidal as the English? Genuine question, as we've had a fascinating little thing emerge from an English music festival. So let's begin with the least insane of the two happenstances, shall we?
Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF!
And there we have a few hundred British people screaming death to the Israeli Defense Force. As I'm pretty sure a Hezbollah flag waves proudly in the foreground. This chant being led, of course, by one half of what I presume from this picture to be the homoerotic comedy duo Bob Vylan, which is either Ebonics for villain or an attempt to get famous of people misspelling Bob Dylan on Spotify. I'm not entirely sure, but they are of course performing at the Glastonbury Festival of Contemporary Performing Arts, a festival exclusively for, well, spoiled rich white kids by and large, which in today's cultural and political environment means largely people who absolutely fucking hate themselves, their country, and the Jews. Which is an amusing yet true turnaround. You know, I wish we could resurrect Adolf Hitler, which, first and foremost, that's a sentence that is going to be taken somewhat out of context in the future, but I just want him back. There we go again. Anyways, to see this, so that he can have a touching moment where he can gaze up on stage at the banner bearers of his ideology and have a nice little feels kind of moment. You know, a single tear streaks down his chin as he goes, "Ach, mein Sohn." Well, that's one alternative anyways. The other might be that he tries to shoot himself again. I'm personally leaning somewhat more to the second one, but details. Now, this was actually the lesser of the two ridiculous notions because, well, honestly, the modern-day progressive left-wing calling for death to the Jew is it's so common it's hardly even noteworthy anymore. What I found even more fascinating was the suicidal urge of the English at this point. So, the Glastonbury Festival is a very upper crust kind of festival. One ticket costs £378, including a £5 booking fee, and then you also need to pay £10 postage. So, that price is roughly $520 odd. But to be fair, in return for your $520, you do get a free newspaper. Lovely. A free mobile app, free mobile phone charging, and free firewood. I tell you, if I was paying $520 to have my phone recharged and free firewood, you would see the resultant bonfire from the moon. Because I'm getting my money's worth, no matter how many of these stacks I have to build up. But again, these are the kind of people that go here. It is posh British people who like to feel rebellious. And that usually comes at, well, trying to hope that their country gets destroyed. As this is the second and even more interesting clip.
How do you want your country back? Ha! Shut the fuck up! How do you want your country back? You can't have that! How do you want your country back? Ha! Shut the fuck up!
I absolutely adore this woman here. Let's see it. There we go. I love her. This is the perfect representation of the modern-day self-hating white person. The person that has grown up to fetishize the out-group to a just pathological degree. A fat, middle-aged white woman wearing a floral dress and a sunflower hat, nodding along, yeah, fuck those white people wanting their countries back, yeah, getting actively pissed on from stage. It's so perfect. And I want to point out too, all of this is of course broadcasted straight from the British Broadcasting Centre, a corporation, whatever the hell they call it, the BBC. Rarely has the big black cock network been more perfectly named than this scenario right here. Again, this is hundreds, if not thousands, of British people going, yeah, fuck those people who want their countries back. Oh, and by the way, free Palestine. Listen, white people, you can't have your nations back. We own them now. We are occupying them. We are brazenly and clearly declaring ourselves to be the enemy. We are the occupier. We are the invader. We have acted like one for a few decades, and we are now declaring it as loudly as we can from the biggest stage that would have us to try and hammer home the point. Yet still, it doesn't seem to be sinking in to a significant portion of the population. But, Whitey, listen, you also have a moral responsibility to get involved in yet another war in the Middle fucking East, one of the most war-ravaged areas on planet Earth throughout history. Why? Well, because we'd like our country back, says the English rap duo. What else is new? Although, there was one interesting thing, namely this. We are aware of comments made by acts on the West Hall stage and Glastonbury Festival this afternoon. Video evidence will be assessed by officers to determine whether any offences may have been committed that would require a criminal investigation. Now, mind you, this is not the no, you can't have your country back, Whitey. We own it now. That was fine. That's perfectly okay by the British police, of course, and the British populace. This was the problem. Chanting death to the Israeli Defense Force may conceivably be a crime in England. I don't know where you would possibly get that notion from. Yeah, it's not like we haven't got some evidence on this, and I would like just play this clip right here, just to give you an idea of how this could conceivably, possibly, indeed be viewed as some sort of a hate offence.
To actually move the mayor? No? Because if you do, that would be really handy for us. But apparently during some conversations between yourself, apparently you have alleged, we weren't here, so I don't know you said it, but you've alleged to say, speak English? Or what's that effect?
Speak clearly.
Speak clearly.
No, the gentleman's partially deaf.
Yeah, he can speak clearly.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even hear him.
No, and that's fine, and that's why we've just come to speak, because potentially someone could perceive that as a hate crime.
Did we just know this was going to happen?
No, I know.
People, you know, if someone says to me, officer, I believe this.
The reaction from the onlooker to like just shut up. But also, in case the British police for some reason feel, I don't know, hesitant to launch charges against these two individuals for reasons completely and utterly unrelated to their skin color, of course, because, you know, if rape isn't a crime, if you're a particular persuasion or shade, then surely shouting death to the Jew can't possibly be bad either, right? Potentially. Britain does have a history of that, but just in case the British police decide to forget some of their own laws and regulations, well, this gentleman right here gave them a quick breakdown of all of the potential laws that may have been violated here. England is not a serious country, incidentally, when all of this can also be used for a music performance on stage. But hey, if all of these are already being used against normal people, I see no reason why these laws should not apply as well to edgelord homosexuals that have gone up on a stage. And what about rich edgelords homosexuals performing before a horde of fat middle-aged white women that each paid $520 for the privilege of being pissed upon by a foreigner? You know how the Roman Empire fell, largely due to rampant bureaucracy, corruption, and massive amounts of debauchery, essentially just corroding away at the spirit and the soul of Rome? Well, I think we've passed that point quite some while ago. I think we're lapping Rome at this point. If anything, we might be going so hard, we might be catching ourselves up at this point, as on the one hand, right, there is beginning to be growing resistance against this in Europe and even in England, although it's difficult to fathom and see these days, but it has simply become that blatant. You have a massive stage, a massive old music festival going death to the IDF, and you want your country back? No? Fuck you. Whilst also still going, hey, please help me get my country back. Well, in the immortal words of the great poet Bob Vylan, no, fuck you. But it is all taking so very long. Here in Germany, in like Sweden. You want to see a country where this is going on for the longest? Sweden. The Sweden Democrats have been artificially held out of power for, God, what is it, like 12 years now or something? And England's going to be the exact same thing in Germany. France has started jailing its political opponents now, and Germany have openly discussed banning the alternative for Deutschland as well. Britain is not even at that point yet, where they're beginning to, jail the political opposition. It is going to take another 10-20 years of shit as blatant as this before the populace of England begins to realise, hey, it's not raining, that's just urine. And even then, it's going to be another 10-20 years before somebody will create a political party that might actually push back on it, as I largely share Sargon's lack of faith in Nigel Farage, another old establishment candidate who tends to wobble back and forth depending on what sounds like it'll get him popular at that particular given moment in time. See, that is the overriding problem with career politicians. They are career politicians. When being a politician is simply a job, well, you will say and do whatever will get you rehired, rather than what you actually believe or what you would actually like to see implemented, and then allow the populace to choose the direction they want to go in, instead of you simply spewing platitudes at them. But oh well. Business as usual, though I am quite intrigued by this. So normally, this group of people can say and do whatever they want with absolutely zero consequences whatsoever. It's why they say it. See, the right wing on social media, in public, etc., we've gotten very good at knowing just where the line is and to not step over it, because we know that if we do, yeeto delito, pretty much instantly. Fuck the 3-strike system. If we step out of line, we're gone before we can even breathe a word about it. But the left, they haven't needed to fear this, which is why they're still willing to say insane shit, like, death to the Jew on stage. Or, no, fuck you, you can't have your country back, fat British woman. But as the pressure begins to grow in opposition to this, as the countless laws they created specifically to persecute their political opponents are now being used against them, delicious sweet irony, they're going to get hit for it. Now, that is an optimistic idea, mind you, as them going, oh, we will review it and see if there's anything wrong here. 90% chance they won't find anything particularly objectionable, because whilst they might see it and go, well, yeah, no, that is indeed a violation of countless legal systems we have at the moment, not to mention our broad hate speech laws, well, they are a pair of very diverse individuals, and our handbook explicitly states that we need to give them the benefit of the doubt. Still, the very fact that the police have even deigned to respond is an interesting change from the previous sense of absolute immunity that these people have enjoyed. Good luck, England. You are going to need it. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for listening, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.